is Jonathan over at American Off-Road Customs. I want to talk about this beast behind me here that we just finished doing some axle upgrades on. You may have seen some videos we've done about this Jeep in the past, but in case you haven't, just want to do a quick little review of kind of some of the stuff we've done to this. So this is a JKU that has gone through a lot of changes over the years. It has RPM steering suspension on this. They're 3-link front with their double triangulated rear suspension links. We are running Radflow 3.0 coilovers on this. We have AORC-built back half frame kit with their coil buckets and high clearance inner fender liners. Also got GenRight front coil buckets, steering brackets, track bar brackets, stuff like that. The steering links that are on this are actually fabricated by us to fit with all of the fusion axle stuff that we got going on. There's also armor, and we've got GenRight cage and PRP seats in here, and best top app doors, and a bunch of stuff. So a lot of really cool stuff went into this. Now, this particular build is a little interesting because he already had 1-tons on this, and you might ask yourself, why would we change 1-tons for more 1-tons? And the answer to that question is basically stronger and wider setup. So his axles that he had before were off-the-shelf Dana 60s by Jeep that were made to basically bolt into a factory suspension system and go and wheel and be stronger. The problem with those is they're not as wide as we typically want to see with big tires and a lot more flex and stuff that you want for off-road applications. The other issue is turning radius. Those axles, because they're designed to work with bolt-in factory setup, they maintain the same turning arc as the factory 44 did. Now these are designed differently and have way more turning radius than those do. They're also significantly wider. I think the factory axles are somewhere around 65 inches wide. These are 72 inches wide. We also have way more strength in these. That was the other thing we wanted, is these tires actually have water in them now because of the added weight, sticky compound. There's a lot more traction going to be happening here, a lot more force to try to overcome. So we got to make sure that the internals are built to be able to handle all that extra weight and stress. So these are 40 spline internals all the way front and back. So these things should be super beefy, not have any issues of shaft breaking or anything like that. We also had to replace the ESC ram that he had in here. This one has roughly 9 3/4 inches of throw from turn to turn compared to the 6-inch ram that he had before. So that gives you some indication of the improvement to the steering of this head. Now, if you come around this side, you can also see how much more clearance this tire has compared to what he used to have before, where this thing was literally rubbing on the inner fender liner here, rubbing on the frame, all that stuff. We've got miles of clearance now, and that's one of the main benefits of doing this wider axle. You might hear about people running wheel spacers and big offset wheels to be able to get that clearance, which you can't do. Downside is you're sacrificing your scrub radius to achieve that, so end up with some other things that aren't so good. This is the best way to do it, is to have it built into tubes, so that way the tires can turn more on a pivot instead of kind of walking around the way they would otherwise. So this thing we're all excited to see out on the rocks, so make sure you come check us out at Winter Jam. It will be there. You can see this thing in action for yourself.